For over a decade, the Cedar River Salmon Journey has been one of the most successful public programs educating Puget Sound residents about salmon and watershed health. Created in 1999, the Cedar River Salmon Journey has already served more than 35,000 people during the annual sockeye migration between the Ballard Locks and Landsberg Dam.
My name is Barbara Clements, and I am a volunteer at the Friends of the Cedar River Naturalist Program, and I have been, this is my first year volunteering.
So for 20 years I lived about 20 miles north of here, and I never even knew that the river was here. I didn't know anything about where my water came from, and I certainly didn't know anything about the fish in the river.
Each year, community volunteers are recruited to provide interpretive programs to the public during the sockeye salmon spawning season. Volunteers receive about 20 hours of training from fish, interpretive, and watershed experts. Once trained, they make riverside presentations to the public in October and November when fish are spawning in the Cedar River at 5 sites: Renton Library, Cedar River Park, Riverview Park, Landsberg Park, and where we are today, Kavanaugh Pond. Naturalists also present at the Ballard Locks in July when salmon are passing through on their way to spawning grounds. While volunteering as a naturalist may seem like a large commitment, it is also a richly rewarding experience.
Well, I knew about the salmon, of course, at an academic level, but I'd never seen them, and the first time I saw salmon was during my training with the program. And we were at the Renton Library, and as our instructor was talking to us, I looked over the railing, and there was one beautiful, fresh, tomato red salmon just coming up the river from under the library. I can't explain why, but it just hit me between the eyes. It was like being presented with the most ancient and primal of creatures. It was a feeling of awe and mystery, and really a feeling of the sacred.
This is a great program for volunteers like myself that are really into the natural wildlife habitat. I mean, to sort of reach out to people, and I think that it sort of instills a sense of ownership for the people that live near the river, that play near the river, that ride their bikes near the river.
There's so many people who have a stake in these fish. They're a giant economic engine for the entire Pacific Northwest. They support multiple industries. The people came here because the salmon are here. Not only do the salmon feed the people and have supported the Northwest native lifestyle for countless centuries, but they support more than 137 species on the river, including the trees. Our trees are carnivores. They have salmon DNA in them that have been brought to them by the animals that have come down to the river and picked up the carcasses and moved them up and dropped them into the trees, and they've soaked them up through their roots. They support the whole river.
A classic icon of the Pacific Northwest, salmon have 5 basic needs for survival and reproduction: clean water, free of sediments and pollutants; proper water chemistry, a high level of dissolved oxygen and temperatures between 48 and 55 degrees Fahrenheit; plenty of food, insects for the adults and salmon carcasses for the fry; large woody debris to act as shelter for the salmon to hide, rest, and feed; and finally, they need gravelly spawning areas. While the Cedar River may seem remote, any action in the watershed will affect river conditions. There are plenty of things you can do to help the salmon be successful.
Most people are aware of the fish, but I think we have a tendency to take them for granted because we don't realize what a keystone species they are and the impact they have on every part of our life, on our economic engine, on our recreational possibilities, on the health of the ecosystem, the health of our watershed, which is our drinking water. One of the biggest pollutants in Puget Sound is our stormwater runoff. And everything that we do on the surface of this watershed ends up in the river, and it ends up in the Sound. So we cannot wash our cars in our driveways. We can build rain gardens in our yards to take care and filter the runoff that comes from our roofs. We can go easy on using products like antibacterial soap. It's a big pollutant in Elliott Bay. We can keep our pets out of the river when the salmon are in the river through maybe January until the eggs hatch. Those eggs are buried in the gravel and they're fragile. And when our dogs go playing in the river and they churn up the gravel, they hurt the eggs.
the kids immediately get it. You talk to them and you talk about that this is the home of the ducks and the home of the salmon and how they're all interconnected. And they just go, oh, okay. And when you tell them, you know, when the fish are trying to breed and do their last please don't throw rocks at them, they get it immediately. It's often, and they're the ones in turn that will tell mom and dad, oh, don't throw that stick out in the river.
This is my 4th year on the river, and every year there are new faces who have never seen the fish, and the astonishment and the delight is just remarkable. Remember last year at the locks, a little boy came walking across the dam with his parents trailing behind him, and as he walked across the dam towards the fish ladder, he saw the Chinook milling around underneath that one lookout point. And this little boy, he had 3 words: "Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God!" And that's all he could say. When you see an impact like that, you know, it really warms your heart.